Okay, and we're live. Hey Ilya,
Okay.
how's it going?
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. This time the podcast has a different name because we made a studio since last time we talked, and we just decided to change it to Tonari Animation instead of Striving for
Sure.
Animation.
Sure.
Anyways, so what all have you been kind of working on lately? Like that, like
So,
generally speaking. I know you can't talk about specific projects.
yeah, sure. What was the last time when we were talking? Was it like 2020 or
It was
2000
last year. I think it was about a year ago.
year
But so it
ago?
was
Year ago.
before Birthday Wonderland came out, and before
Bef-
Ghost in the Shell came
bef-
out.
Before Birthday Wonderland was
Well,
out? Oh, like in
before it came
America.
out in America, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I've actually
Okay.
watched
Okay.
it. Uh, I bought the DVD. It
Oh,
was
thank you
really
so much.
yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. It was cute.
Does the DVD had like the commentary track?
Yeah,
Like I've done a commentary track for like American edition, I believe.
yeah. It had that on there. I didn't watch it though.
Yeah, please don't. It's so embarrassing.
But yeah, it was surprising, like really funny, and uh, all the designs and locations were really cute and interesting
Thank you
and
so
stuff. So,
much.
um, yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should definitely watch it. The animation's
Yeah,
really
it
good too.
called like the Wonderland on different countries. It called Birthday Wonderland in England, I
Yeah,
believe.
I think here it's called The Wonderland.
The Wonderland. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the Wonderland more, but looks like the Birthday Wonderland. It's easy to like say what movie meant because like it's more like kind of unique name. So there's that.
yeah. I kind of like the name Birthday
So
Wonderland better, but
okay, okay. When I first
um,
heard it, I was like, oh, it's kind of sounds like super cringy, right? Birthday Wonderland,
yeah,
and they was like, no, no, it's okay. I was like, what? Okay. Anyway, after we talked last time, when I was working on Birthday Wonderland, I was doing like designs and concept art and storyboard a little, animated a little, and we're doing the Sakkan job, like the animation supervising.
yep.
And after that, uh, I worked on like maybe 10 or 11 projects. Just
Oh wow.
it's where some series, some TV animated series, some movies, and not really a lot of out now. But yeah, a couple of those that are out that I worked on is oh, I don't know what's the English name of this anime. So basically, it's the anime about the dragon searching for home, and
What's
it's
it?
like
What's it called in Japanese?
uh, Dragon Eo Kariru, something like that.
Mm,
I don't remember
yeah.
myself. Anyway, it was just like the couple of cut shots from the beginning of the opening of this anime, and then it's something that is out. I worked on, yeah, it's the Sing Yesterday for me,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
I've done ending titles sequence for The World Ends With You, the animation, and God, I forgot all of those. So some of the recents was the Shonen Tantei done. I don't know how would the English name for that. I've done some creepy cuts. I didn't even posted it anywhere because those are like spoiler cuts, so I
Mm.
can't show it to you. But I've done like maybe 10 cuts for the 12th episode. What was I forgot everything. I should had prepared for that. Like talking about what
Yeah,
I was working
I
on.
can't
It's like
remember what I've worked on a lot too. Like
yeah,
I'll even forget like that I worked on something, and then the credit comes out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I worked on that.
yeah. Let me open my iPad and see. Maybe some work files will be there. Oh yeah, most of others looks like it's just like I can't talk about it. But yeah, I actually like really more interested in doing the animation itself, not just the design. So I
Yeah.
was like really uh, I'm really happy with the jobs I'm doing right now. So it's just the movement itself, not just the pictures, not the illustrations, but the pictures in time. So
Yeah. Hey, real quick,
yeah.
I think your mic keeps getting like obstructed.
Oh yes, you're right.
I don't know if it's
How is
like
that?
getting covered up.
Is it
Yeah, that sounds
work
better.
now?
Yeah, there's just
Okay.
like a couple times I think it got buried or something.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. So, basically, you got to learn a lot about anime production while you're working on Birthday Wonderland, and then you ended up liking working on anime, so you just want to keep doing it.
Oh yeah, like it was my goal when I came to Japan.
Oh,
I just
really?
wanted to work on anime, but because I was doing like a lot of illustrations on the internet, I would never get any like jobs like in the moving format. So
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the Kishihara, the director of the Bazeman Land, who found me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm starting to finally get the jobs I really wanted to do
Yeah,
all this time.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad you decided to stick with anime. So I think you're gonna be able to contribute a lot of cool artwork.
Oh yeah,
I'm,
I'm
I'm
I'm still bad at a lot of things related to to the like the
the
process, like
production.
the
Yeah.
time sheets. Like I'm really doing my best to to remember all this, like how to do time sheets, how to do tsumishiji, how to do like all of those like. But yeah,
How are you learning everything? Like, is it a studio teaching
so
you or?
yeah, like there's a story uh about that. So I was doing a lot of like freelance, how do you say it? Like yeah, like jobs from home, like animating
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
And the
remote.
biggest problem with that was like there was nobody I can ask about like something I don't understand. Like how, for example, like how do I put this tsumishiji here, and I don't have nobody around me to just ask,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm alone in my home. And it was like a really big, not a really big problem, but I wanted to like learn properly how to do that. I just don't have anybody to ask stupid questions. Like I have, but I will not because like I don't want to take that
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like so, and basically not so long ago, I got I contacted my friend. Like he was Sakan of Birthday Wonderland's first chapter, like the real world, the bike scene. He was animating that, and I asked him like about like what should I do? Should I like take the courses of in between, like Doga courses, just to trying to understand all of the the rules, the how do you
Mm-hmm.
show something and stuff. And he was like, oh no, you better just get some job and learn it while you're doing that. And I was like, but I have these jobs, but
Yeah.
I'm not learning anything because I can't ask. And he was like, oh okay, so I'm doing this just little project right now, like 5 minutes. You want to work on it together? I will be there, and you can ask any stupid questions
Mm-hmm.
you can. And for maybe a month we were just working together at studio. I was asking the weirdest and stupidest questions, and he was like answering all of those with straight face without laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really great experience. It's like intensive course of all the animation related stuff.
What
And I
was
was
like?
even asking, yeah.
Uh, actually, I'll go ahead. I'll ask my question at the end.
Yeah. I was asking stuff not really related even to Genga, like the Genga man. They are not doing the actual like mepachi. What's the word? The eye
Yeah,
closing.
Mepaku. Was it Mepaku? Or is it
Yeah,
Pachi?
something
I
like
think it's
that. And
Mepachi. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
yeah. And like the Genga man was not doing that, but like I really needed to know like it's how do you do and when you're doing doga. So he were explaining it to me. So like you don't draw the half like you don't draw the eye half closed because it looks like really weird, like the character is drunk. So it's just really like the small, really small movement of the eyelid, and then it closed. It's like just two frames on thirds, and I was like, oh, okay. And like I really learned a lot, but of course it's like still not enough to be like, I need like years of experience. Like he said, like I'm working in the industry like for 20 years, and there's still sometimes like situations when I just don't know how to do this or that because I didn't had the scenes, with that.
Yeah.
So the example he was showed to me, like I don't know how to do that. It was like a simple scene where it's like one like background and four like like frames in manga, and there's like four frames with different characters are like getting out on the screen, and characters are moving inside this frame. And he's like, I don't know like how to draw this one because it's like, is it like frame kumi, or like is it the book, is the frame lines a book? And so he like, I don't know what's that. So after that, Anshitsu person would fix that for me. So it's okay to not know stuff, but you better know what you don't know to ask how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a part. So would be like people who you can ask. So it helped me actually, because before this intensive course with this person for a month, I was like, when the studio was asking me to like, can you help us with these cuts, I was like, I want to do, but you need to know that there's things I don't know, so maybe you will do like more work with me on your project than without me, because you will need to fix something after me. And they would like, yeah, it's okay, please don't worry about it, just don't do something you don't know, or
I guess all that matters is that the doga person and the compositor understands what you're trying to do. But I know
it's like it mostly about like the if Enshitsu is what I want to say, if Enshitsu is prepared to do a lot of job after you, like for example, there was the scenes before this month of the intensive course of animation. There was scenes where characters talking, and I just don't know how to like to put it on this timeshade, right? So I was like, I've drawn the different shapes of the mouths, and I just wrote a memo in Japanese, like, please put it on the timesheet for me. I'm so sorry and stuff like that. It was so embarrassing.
Did you learn the setifu notation?
Oh yeah,
like where you can just
I know how to do that.
You just like draw a line all the way down to the bottom and let them handle how the mouth moves.
Oh, so it's you do that?
Yeah, that's what I always do. I just write. I go like 1, 2, 3, then put a parentheses around it, and then draw a line through the entire section after.
I didn't know you can do that. Like, so the ancient person are putting it for you, right?
No, the it stays like that all the way until compositing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't even have to time it out. And sometimes they change. Sometimes they change the dialogue too. So even if you timed it to the right dialogue, they might change a line. So they'll just change the lip flaps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and even on Boruto, so I didn't realize this until I worked on it, but they have 5 mouth shapes on Boruto. So you have to draw all 5, even if some of them don't get used.
Oh, in every cut, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can still just do like that setifu thing. You're just like, I don't know which one you want to use, but you can use whatever you want. I drew all of them, so they're all there.
yeah. That was I was doing. I was like, it was super embarrassing, like because I'm so sorry I don't know this. I'm so sorry I don't know that. I was always like writing memos about it, like please forgive me and stuff. But now I don't need to do that, because I learned a lot, and if there's something new that I don't know how to do, I know how to ask, where to ask about it.
Yeah, I'm like a year in now, I guess, and there's still a lot of stuff I don't know how to do. but I know how to do everything I like pretty much everything that comes through normally. Like, but it's like some weird thing. Like, there's like some niche things like
Oh yeah, like you need like
erase
really
in or
realistic
something.
lip sync or something.
There's like one effect you can do where you have a still and then it like in composite they will uh a ghost part of it, kind of like if you have a character that's drawing on a chalkboard,
Yeah.
like you'll have to notate use this notation to like show how they need to show them the timing of how they need to erase the chalk drawing,
Oh right.
like stuff like
Okay.
that. Like there's like really niche stuff like that that I still don't really understand, but once it gets
But
there, like
yeah,
I know where to look to
stuff like
learn.
walking cycle and turning around and like jumps and stuff like that. It was really fun to learn that. I actually didn't know when I first was doing walk cycles that you need to just draw 2 frames, like the extremes of
Oh
walking,
yeah,
like the left one frame with the left leg in front and second frame with right.
yeah. The Doga people are all trained on how to
Yeah, I
finish
still
stuff like
put
the
like
breakdown.
なんか中割り3個 there,
Hmm.
just in case I want like the hair movement to move some exact way.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
usually
also
do
was
3 frames.
doing the running cycle in slow mo, like it was how to explain that. So it's like super fast running character, but it's in slow mo, so it's
Mm.
a lot of frames.
Yeah.
And I realized like when you run really fast, you don't have a lot of like bobbing, so your head is not doing up and down too much. So just maybe a couple of centimeters, 1 inch or something. So when you walk slow, you have more bobbing stuff there. So a lot of interesting stuff I just didn't realize.
Yeah. I got to do a Naruto run or
Okay.
Boruto run, and I didn't
It's like
realize
the
this, but
one with the hands.
yeah, with the hands back, and it's on
Okay.
they animated on ones.
Oh,
They just
that
animate
yeah.
the whole thing because it's so
The
fast.
faster the walk, you need to put more frames.
Um, is there anything like you were learning that was like really hard to understand that like
Uh,
stuck out?
there was there was one moment when like my head exploded when I trying to understand how to ponytail of like girl's hair
Mm.
moves when she's running, and it was like so like there's this logic like if your left leg on front, it means your right hand on front, right? So it's like um when you're walking, it's like the horses and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
they're synchronized, and you also need to think about like not only like the gravity of the like the running, so up and down, right? Also, when you run, when you walk, you move your body a little bit, like left and right
Mm.
on the
Yeah.
x-axis, on z-axis, right?
Yeah. So it wouldn't just go up and down; it would go left and
Yes,
right
yes,
too.
it's go a little bit like diagonal a little bit, and if you like look at character from the top, it goes diagonal too. And when I was like thinking about how the clothes work on on the running person, it was easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was like started thinking about like ponytail, I was like, okay, it goes like the hands and the legs just like backwards.
Mm-hmm.
The faster you run, the harder to control the movement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've done the movement of the ponytail and then gave it to like this friend of mine, the Saktan person, and he was like, "Oh, you've done the ponytail like backwards. It shouldn't use move on the other side." And I was like, "What? Why?" And he started to explain to me, and then I realized I like I mixed it up like a lot of the gravitational forces
So it
is
looked
not
like
gonna work this
it
way.
was moving on its own almost.
Yeah, it wasn't really connected to the head. Like I was thinking of a ponytail as like this something that's going out of head. So I need to think about like how head is bobbing, how head is moving left and right, and the ponytail was like kinda like it's connected, right? So it's need to go to the same direction as a head, but it's not. So I was like, no, what's going on? Then I like when I watched it in movement, I realized like, yeah, I was doing the
Mm-hmm.
backward ponytail, so it looked weird. So it's like it's just following the head around,
Yeah.
not just having
Well,
having its own
yeah, it's
own weight and
yeah,
stuff.
it's got its
No, it
own
was
mind.
stupid, but
Yeah.
it was really hard to grasp me at first. He was showing like it should go this way. I go, but I believe you. I know you're right, but why it's going this way?
Yeah.
He's like,
I
how do you explain that?
yeah, I really like that part of animation. Like you kind of have to understand physics, and you have to really
Yes, a
kind of
lot of stuff. So there's like acting, there's physics, there's just you need to draw the body in 3D space. It
yeah,
it 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 have this perspective, it have its volume around it, so it's really great for like if you're doing animation, it's really helping with your just drawing skills,
yeah,
because you put all of this, you need all of this, think about all the things at the same time, like the perspective, even shadows, like for example the clothes. You need to think not only of its maybe thickness, but
mm-hmm.
also like weight, and yeah, for movement it's basically the weight. So when you like move your hand around in like a jacket, it's like the
Yeah,
jacket's sleeves are a little bit slower than your hand, and then they are when you stop your hand, the jacket is still going,
yeah,
you know so it's like jumps around, and it's fun to think of. And oh, the biggest thing I was impressed when I was like animating, it's like I can't mm, when I animate, I don't listen to the music or podcasts
oh
or
really?
videos on YouTube, nothing. I just sit here in silence, because it's like I'm enjoying it so much. I don't need anything to like entertain me when I'm
Oh
doing that.
wow.
It's like I'm using the brain in the way I never used it maybe for years now, because it's like I really think at the same time and all of these things. And I have this enjoyment of puzzles. You do puzzle,
Oh
like
yeah,
maybe
me too.
playing some games like Layton, and you think about like, oh, what's here? How should I do that and this, and why is it working like that? So it's like are you learning something new when you're just doing job? You're thinking about this exact thing, and it's like it's enjoyment of using your brain or something,
Mm.
like, because when I do an illustration, of course I think a lot of this stuff, uh like there's this color, there's this, the composition, the chiaroscuro, the light and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you animate, you also think in time and space,
Yeah,
right?
extra
And
dimensions.
yes, and it's like I'm using more of my brain when I animate, and I'm using my brain like when I illustration, and I'm really enjoying this feeling. Like it's hard. They're
Yeah,
also like this, it's hard to do. Like it's like depends on the scene, depends on the cut. Sometimes you're just like, oh my god, why did I ask to help with this one? Am I stupid? It's so hard. But yeah, when you're done with it, it was like, oh, I'm just cleared the boss in some really
yeah.
hard game like Souls. It's like enjoyment of like, oh wow, I did that.
You
Like
solved
this
you
is
solved the
so cool.
problem.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I fight with this puzzle, solve the problem. Yeah, it's really great feeling.
yeah. Um, Sometimes though, I don't know if you've encountered any cuts like this yet, but sometimes there's some really painful things to draw, like
Oh, sometimes
like
it's just you need to like put a lot of details, and it's
yeah,
just
like I had
and this way it's not so
I had to do a cut
enjoyable.
on blue blue reflect blue reflection recently, where this
Yeah.
girl she her weapons are chain whips that she can control with her mind. So I'm spending like 10 hours just drawing chain links.
Oh yeah, there's that.
It was
Yeah,
really
there's a lot of
painful.
stuff like that in like in normal illustration as well. Like I was doing the poster art for some movie recently, and there was this just jacket with the like the zip. How do you?
The
What's
zipper.
what's yeah the zipping jacket, and I was drawing every little like this zip element like by hand.
The highlight
I was going
reflections
insane.
on. Yeah.
Yes, it's so crazy. But and then you're just thinking about like, oh, it's so good it's not like moving.
Yeah.
If I need to draw like 5 frames of all of these details, I would just die, and it's still like it's a job. So there's not some enjoyable parts of it too. Like I'm already decided there's a zig button. Now I need to draw it, and there's no fun in that, But yeah, it's happens. It's okay.
So how is it different like doing other people's designs? Like
Oh, I actually enjoy it a lot because I learn a lot. Because like for example, like yeah, like on Bazi Wonderland, I done the designs. I
yeah.
draw the Sakkan stuff with my designs.
Mm.
It's like it's cool because like okay, now all the cuts, all the things looks like it's done by me.
Mm.
But when I draw other people designs, I realized like there's so many different approaches to draw like eye or
Yeah.
nose, face. It's like it's different kind of thinking about like the volume of the face, with the shape, the how it is in a space, and it's so much fun. Like it's I usually when I start on a project and there's the characters I need to move, I learn the design a little. So I break down the character designs. So like how many eyes are between the eyes, right? How many eyes are between the eyes and the nose. So I trying to remember the balance of the face. So for example, had like how many heads in the body in this design, right? So I don't do like different proportion because if I don't get the proportion of the body of the character of the design, don't get it right, the Sakan, the animation supervisor, will need to fix much more.
Yeah.
So you need to redraw it for you. But when you're doing the design, like maybe when you're doing the characters, maybe that's most important thing, just to get the balance of the body and the face right. So they just fix the details, right? Not redraw all the body because your head is too big, or your hands is too small on this character. So I'm trying to not give other people who are like gonna do like fixes on my animation, trying to not give them more work to fix the characters. So I'm trying to learn how it's working, and it's really fun. I was like, oh, so these eyes on this face don't have the spheres inside of it. So I need to think of when the face in the perspective. I need to think of it like the eyes is drawn on the face on top, like a texture in the game, or like in the figures. I was like, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. I feel like that's more common in anime than the realistic.
It's so much easier to animate if you don't need to think about the sphere inside the eye, because when like the face is moving, like for example, if the character is like moving to look in to the other direction, you need to also think like the eye will have its own like little spheric volume on the side face, and it need to change in between. So when from, for example, we draw like the front facing character, and we need to draw how it moves the head to the side, and you need to put on all the in betweens there. And there's some difficult designs where in the side face your nose of the characters is becoming higher than when it's on the front face. So when you move the face, the position of the nose is moving as well, and if there's like too much details in the animations, it looks like its face is morphing. So
Yeah.
you need to do some stuff so it would not be so so weird to in the movement. So there's a lot of fun stuff in drawing other people's designs.
Yeah, I really need to start doing more of the studying before I start doing my cuts.
Oh,
because,
it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, I also read the studying of the character design before doing it. I seen it like one animator of Brazilian Wonderland done. So I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. So she like have this printed designs of the character, main character Akane, and she like just put the lines of how many heads inside her body. She put the lines like middle lines on the face, so she would see more easily like the proportions. And I was like, oh, I need to do that too. So
yeah, that's the main thing I've done. Like, if I'm really having trouble drawing a character, then that's when I'll go and do studies. I just need to do it every time now, but what I'll do is I'll draw where the sphere of the back of the skull is on the character, and then figure out where the face fits on the skull. Because like sometimes the face like sticks out in weird places, like, and you wouldn't expect, or like maybe like the eye line is like at the almost nearly at the bottom of the skull sphere and stuff like that. Like, it always throws me off because I'm always tempted to like, draw the face higher than it should be. But it's like anime characters have these big alien heads. Like, it's really counterintuitive.
So yeah, and the second thing I do is design. I'm trying to find the details that are different from other stuff. So for example, like there's a lot of designs like maybe Kyoto animation that like the characters like palm of hands, their hands are super small, so like kitten proportion of the hands and feet. And I was like, I need to like put it in my head and always thinking about it to not draw the normal hands, because they need to redraw all the all the fingers, all the gestures. And it's still like sometimes designs have like really big ears on the character, and I was like, if I don't think about it all the time, I draw like the normal ears, and I was like, oh snap, now I need to redraw it. And there's a lot of that. So I'm trying to like remember like what's different in this design I need to think about when I draw that. So it's like more things to think about now, right?
Yeah. So are you working freelance right now, or are you at a studio? I think someone earlier was asking if you were at a studio.
Yeah, I was working at studio like for a month with this like intensive course of animation with my friend, but normally it's just freelance now. But like starting September, I will gonna do some in studio jobs. So.
Okay. Do you?
I was also doing the. I'm so sorry. The storyboards for some projects too, but it's like super big secret.
Oh.
And I shouldn't talk about it. But
Is it the same one that was also a big secret last year?
Oh, maybe
because you brought it up.
Like,
I think you brought it up last year too.
I've done two.
Oh, you've done two big secret projects. Okay.
Yeah, and they are just not starting. Like there are like trailers and stuff like that, but there's no info. Like I storyboarded.
It's just like a teaser.
Yeah. So when it's out, I would be happy to like announce that. So there's this episode I storyboarded and animated like some of the scenes. So there will be a lot of me there, with of course like really cool person as a character design, and I really learned a lot while drawing his characters, so please look forward to that. Yeah, it's so stupid, like I can't call any project.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like by the time it comes out or whatever, it'll be like it'll have been for so long, and then you're like, oh, it's finally coming out. Like I worked on an anime at the beginning of last year, and and I think it's almost done with production, and they haven't even announced like a date. There's
Oh,
just
it's
like
safer
an
like that, yeah.
article and a poster out. It's like, and there's no details on the internet, and I'm like, actually multiple shows. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but yeah, this approach is better actually. But like sometimes it's like super weird. Like I was like, hey, look, how about like I announce I worked on that. It will help like the promotion. Like there was a situation like I had this exhibition in Tokyo called Vivid, and there was like this big wall of my like fan video of like Sing Yesterday for Me. So it's like, I've done this like in 2015. I've done this short trailer for how maybe Sing Yesterday for Me would look like in the anime form, because it was just a manga. And they announced the Sing Yesterday for Me anime at the same year it was my exhibition. And actually I've done the ending for that. I've done some animations for that. And in like the guys of the exhibitions, like they are calling to the right holders of Sing Yesterday for Me, like we have this situation with the exhibition, like where in the exhibition there's a lot of talk about like how like me being in Russia, big fan of Ghost in the Shell, doing fan arts, like dreaming of
yeah.
working on the project, and then I have it, and like this is like really great for the people to like follow your dream and stuff like that. And the same happened with the Sing Yesterday for Me, right? So I was doing a lot of fan arts of main character of Sing Yesterday for Me. I've done this fan video because I was so sad the manga is ended and we're probably not gonna get the anime adaptation, and then anime adaptation is announced. And how about like we like announced that Ilya actually worked on the anime adaptation of this manga he was big fan of, drawing fan arts, and it will gonna like promote the animation, right? And they was like, no, no way you're gonna tell. And yeah, and so an exhibition was just my fan arts for Sing Yesterday for Me. At least they said this one is okay.
So
and then when the animation was out, I announced the Damien's out, the Genga I've done, I showed this and that. It was too late to have this talk about like follow your dream. It's not gonna work anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of like difficult things, not only time and money, but promotion and right holders and stuff like that.
Yeah. Something that's kind of nice about layout, though, like if you're doing layout work, you work on something that comes out like within a few months.
Oh yeah, like I've done some cuts for the cuts I've done for Bishon and Tante done. Like they asked me like we need it like really fast. Can you please like do it in like in 2 days or something? I was like, okay, what's going on? I will, of course, I'm happy to help, but is it okay with your schedule? Like, and like, and in a week the episode was out and like everything was like finished. I was like, oh my god, they were on the verge.
Yeah, they did that. That was the same with the I think it was one of the last episodes of Black Clover, where there was like we were finishing the layout and then the episode came out the next week. And we were like, what? We were like, how did they do that?
Yeah, and that's why it's not good, so it's better like you've done stuff and it's out in a year, because now nobody was like
nobody had to stay up 4 days in a row.
Yeah, so it's better, but of course, yeah, I want to show stuff. Of course.
I'm curious of something. So do you ever go to your own exhibitions, like people don't know what you
Corona.
Oh yeah, I mean I guess before then, because like people don't know what you look like, so
yeah,
I think you can like go in
an LA exhibition. We were like watching the Buzz the Wonderland together with the people who was there. So I was there. I talked to people, asked question. but not these 2 years. I've been on stuff like South Africa Comic Con. I've been on the what's the NC movie festival. So just not the last 2 years. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. How was, like, I guess that's a thing that happened, the pandemic.
Yeah.
I have this theory that, like, my studio really benefited, I guess you could say, from the pandemic, because all the Japanese studios suddenly were like, okay, we have to learn how to do remote work.
Yes.
And then they're like, wait, if all our animators can work from home over the internet, we can hire people overseas easier now.
Yeah.
And I think it made a lot of studios more open to outsourcing.
Yeah, like for example, if all of your data is digital, it's like sending it to somebody is like moment of your time, right? But if it's paper, you took the paper, you get into the car, get to this person's home, or maybe he's not even in Tokyo, right? It takes time.
Yeah, you know, some of the stuff, the SOCCON work that they ship over, that they send to South Korea, they send it on a boat.
Yes. We had like the Doga done for Boss the Wonderland. It was flew to us on the plane from China. And I was like, oh my god, why do you send paper? Just scan the stuff and send it via internet. What's going on?
I did get an answer to that question, because I asked somebody who had the answer, and they said it was because of accuracy. It's for the peg hole accuracy, I guess, because if you scan it, well, it's for, I guess, pencil accuracy, and then so that you don't have the jitter from uneven scans.
But you still do digital on
eventually,
top of that, right?
Yeah, eventually you scan it in. So I don't like that. That's the answer that was told to me.
I heard another opinion about that. They say just it's cheaper to just do paper and pencils, because you don't need to buy computers for every Doga person, right?
Yeah, so I feel like eventually though.
Oh, I hope the PCs will become like dirt cheap, so everybody could do digital. But it's not the biggest problem. It's not about the money in PCs. Sometimes, especially in Japan, it's easier for animators to do in paper. You don't need to learn new stuff.
Yeah, well, I that's one thing I like that anime is doing for people, because just like not all artists are good with computers.
Yes.
And we want to be able to utilize their talent on productions. And
right now it works well. Like if you want to do digital layout, do. If you want to do like paper layout, do that. And the producers, the desk person, they will like scan and print just for you, like anything you like. If you wanna go digital, do. If you wanna go paper, they will scan it.
Most of the layout work that I do digitally, and then I'll send it over, and then they'll print it off, and then everything sent back to me is just paper scans, and then I have to like reorganize it all in Clip Studio. What so are you using Clip Studio?
Thing, actually. Yeah, I'm using Clip Studio for that, because they say the TV Paint is tailor-made for animation, but I tried it, and first of all, its cost is crazy.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's so different from, for example, from soft I usually use for illustration, for Photoshop.
Yeah. That's why I like Clip Studio.
Yeah, Clip Studio is like closer to Photoshop, and you have this, the timeline on the bottom. It just works. It took me time to realize how the creating new frames are work in Clip Studio, but when I get used to that, I realized this is super handy to use. You just it's not like one image is your frame. You can do folder, and it's gonna be your frame, and you use the same folder for example, for line cleanup. You can even do colors on the same frame. It's super easy to use. I don't remember if they added the camera movement
and recent versions, but like you don't really need that actually.
Yeah, not in anime, but it is nice
Yeah.
to test. To test
Yeah,
it
like
out.
how it's gonna look like.
Yeah,
It's
they
easy
do have a
to gonna
camera.
stroke and stuff.
It's pretty hard to use though because you have to go through like these really weird settings to do a camera that's a different dimension than your canvas.
Oh, it's like zooming in
Well,
and out and
like the
stuff like
layout
that.
paper is like A4 dimensions, but the is it A4? I think it's A4 dimensions. Anyways, but the actual camera frame is like 1080p 16:9 widescreen. So
Oh,
by default, if you just turn on the camera, the digital camera, it's just going to be the size of the paper, not a 1080p 16:9 window. But
okay.
yeah, it's
Sounds.
there are settings to make it work, and it is kind of fun because you can do like cell slides, you can do camera work, background slides, uh, all in there. It's really cool to test out your cuts.
Okay.
Um, is there anything like on Clip Studio that like some neat trick or something that you've learned?
Yes, like I love how I've done my hotkeys. Let me explain. So, I usually use like the Clip Studio on my iPad. It's like it's the same software. I'm really impressed how they do that. It even
Mm.
like if you save, like for example, you open like the Dropbox app and Clip Studio app on your iPad, and you like drag and drop the file from Dropbox to the Clip Studio. It's not only just moved here and you're working on it. If you save your like Clip Studio file on Clip Studio on iPad, it's automatically saved to Dropbox, so you don't need to, uh, like it's yeah. Maybe it sounds weird. Like on PC, it works like automatically, but I never seen on iPad some app automatically save to Dropbox without like saving it on the iPad first and then drag and drop to Dropbox. So anyway, I connect the Bluetooth keyboard to my Clip Studio Paint on iPad, and let me explain the hotkeys I've done. I've done so there's numbers on the keyboard, and I use 1 and 3 to like previous cell and next cell.
Mm-hmm.
And I use 2 as the pencil and eraser button. So, for example, I touch 2 one time, it's pencil. I touch 2 again, it's eraser, and it's going back and forth. So, and the like working process with just these 3 keys looks like really great. So it's you constantly like look at last frame, next frame, last frame, next frame, and you can fix on the fly like all 3 frames. It's so much fun. And yeah, I also use X button for changing 2 colors. So for example, I have one color for GSN, right, black, and for example, like for layout, just a blue color, and I can switch between 2 colors, like drawing the GSN and drawing the shadows like really fast. It's like super handy, and of course I have like this space button for like the
like
zoom in, zoom out, scroll.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. So you just put your hand on the left side of your keyboard, and you have everything you need for animating like really, really fast. It's so great.
When you said that, I put my left hand on my keyboard, and I was like, "That's really uncomfortable." But then I realized I'm left-handed. I draw left-handed, so.
Oh, oh snap! Okay, but yeah, you can do the same on the right side.
Yeah.
It's just if it's okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just use the little arrow keys in next to the space bar.
Yeah. You have space here. Yeah, you have arrow keys. Works great.
Yeah. I got used to using the you can assign colors to layers, so I don't even touch the when I'm doing layout. I don't even touch the color panel. I'll just click on the different layer to change colors.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, so you have layers just for example, the shadow.
Yeah, just like blue, and then it doesn't matter what color you're set to. It like you can be on white and it'll still draw blue.
Wow, I need to Google that. I
Yeah.
didn't know you can do that.
Yeah, it's a really handy feature. It's like on the top right of the layers panel. There's like these two squares, and you can just
Oh, I
change the
see.
colors, and you can flip between two,
Oh,
so you can assign two colors to it. But I always just use one.
nice,
But
nice.
yeah, it's
Also,
really
I'm
cool.
just looking at my layer panel. I realized I'm using like you can put two layer panels in one, and it's how
Yeah,
is
I learned
that
that recently too.
helpful? It's you can for example on the on the bottom of your file there's like background, on the top of your file there's like the frames, right? And sometimes you need to see background and then clear it again, and you don't need to scroll down to the background and get back and scroll down again, because you have two two layer panels on the different sides of your file, one on top, one on bottom.
Yeah.
And this is so cool. You don't have that in Photoshop.
Yeah, I use that all the time whenever I'm doing Negan,
Yeah.
because you have to import all the scans. So I like drop in 50 images, and then you have to
Oh, yeah.
sort them into the timeline. But I always put them in folders.
Timeline stuff is really easy to use too. Like there's this button, not button, but like the setting when you can rename all of the frames
By the order. Yeah.
By the order, yeah. Because like when I've just starting layout, I don't really know which timing I use. So maybe I input more frames in this and that, and it looks really weird, like 17554.
Yeah, exactly.
1.
Yeah.
It's like which one, and just push this setting and you get it all done. Great.
Yeah, then that works for your numbers for labels.
Yeah. Then you just put those in the timeline, right?
Have you messed with the Toei digital exposure sheet at all?
Oh, I heard about it. Like
it exports the timeline as an X sheet.
Yeah, I first I didn't use that because it was so messy, And it's like all of these numbers, because I didn't know like the stuff about order, and after that I just forgot about it. Like, do you use that like all the time?
Yeah, I use it on like if it's a simple cut where it's just talking or whatever, I don't bother. But if it's like characters running around or there's multiple characters doing different things, then I'll use it, because it's too hard to go from horizontal to vertical.
Oh yeah. So, like why? I asked. I can actually like contact Clip Studio Paint, like the developers. I can ask them like, can you please do timeline like setting when it's like vertical?
Yeah,
I should ask them that.
That would be great, but yeah. I don't know. For some reason, like I don't know if they're prioritizing the animation features so much. I think
I think they are like really aware that everybody's using it for now, so they are started putting a lot of new stuff here. Like for example, there wasn't camera work like from like recently. So I think they would love to hear the ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I tried to. The reason I think that they, at least last time I talked to them, was an email exchange. I was trying to get them to sponsor this podcast, because we always talk. We're like selling copies of it by every time we talk about it. And I was like, hey, why don't we get a sponsorship or something? We'll give out copies or whatever. And they were like, no, we're not really focused on animation at the moment. Sorry. I was like, what?
Sorry.
Okay. It's like my video, I think, about software got like 800,000 views, and at the very end of it, I told everyone to buy Clip Studio.
Go and buy, right?
So,
right.
Yeah, it's whatever. Maybe they'll sponsor us eventually, but anyways, so we said we were gonna try to stay within an hour. We're almost at an hour already. Did you want to go a bit longer, or do you want to just go to Q&A?
A little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, we can keep talking
more if you have your questions, or can I ask you questions?
So either way. Yeah. I've got like one more thing I wanted to ask you about, which was kind of interesting. You had so I used to play this game a lot. I'm selling my VR headset, but you had a show, or a what is it called, exhibition on VR chat.
Yes.
Was that your idea,
Yeah.
or was that like the studio's idea, that game studio?
No, it was my idea. Like,
Do you
there's a
do
like
you have VR?
I have like vivid exhibition, but it's only Tokyo, and I was like, I want to show this stuff to other countries. Let's do just VR exhibition of that, and it was like, oh, but it's so much money to create this one, right? And I was like, no, and yeah, it was like cheap to do, and
Yeah.
they agreed to do that for free because at the end of the exhibitions there's a link to the goods, they you can go and buy stuff. That's why I was like, oh yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
put money in that. So what was the question?
Oh yeah, I was just
VR?
curious if it was your idea. I didn't actually go see it, but like I did used to play that game a lot. But
Oh yeah, like VR chat.
yeah.
Yeah, like they used some like not only VR chat, there's some app from you can go there from phone.
Oh
So
yeah, someone on chat just said that they went there on their phone.
yeah. So there's a like really easy to go there. Just if you have browser on your your mobile or your PC, you just go there. It's not 3D, that you move around. I don't remember. Maybe you can even jump, and you can chat
You
to
can
other
jump?
people. It was fun. You can jump in
That's funny.
the like a game like Mario.
Yeah. So that was basically all I had questions for. Like I think it's we can keep talking about like animation production stuff. I think that kind of stuff's really fun to talk about, like the weird tricks and strategies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if like software talk we were talking about was anything of help, because like you better show it on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope maybe somebody would remember like to put 1 and 3 and 2, and you put your 3 fingers here. I also put like the onion skin on and off on 4. So
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I don't have I need to make hotkeys for timeline stuff. Only one I've got is panning, like changing cells.
oh yeah, changing cells is enough actually. So if you
Yeah.
have that, you're
Yeah,
good
then
to
I'll
go.
usually just click the little buttons on there. One thing that that really helped me out too was using the there's a window called animation cells. Do you know what that?
Oh no. Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't know what's it for.
Yeah, it only shows you the layers that are currently selected on the timeline.
On the screen.
Yeah, so like if you click like A1 and then go to animation cells, you'll just see the layers that are on A1. And it's really nice, so you don't have to constantly scroll around the layers panel.
I don't really understand it yet, but I will try it. So
And
you don't need to use layer window for that, right?
Yeah.
So if you have
I just put it
cells,
like next to the layers panel, and then I can swap between it.
I should try it. So can I ask any questions?
Yeah.
To you?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your company? How many people there? How it working? How do you enjoy doing this?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that.
Promote your company.
Yeah. So I don't know if I had started this before we talked last time, but I started the company in March last year, like when the pandemic started.
Yeah. I remember you contacted me on Twitter DM and like explained about the company.
Oh yeah.
It was after we talking. So
yeah. So I just had this idea that we could make a studio with just remote people from all over the world. So and it seemed to have worked, because now we have this.
What do you mean?
We now have like 100 people.
100 people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And in like some surprising places too, like Egypt, Brazil, Chile, Argentina,
Nice.
The United Arab Emirates, New Zealand, Australia, everywhere in Southeast Asia, pretty much, except Indonesia. We don't have any Indonesians yet. Singapore, India, Japan, Canada, like a bunch of places in Europe. It's really cool. But yeah, mostly what we're doing. So we started off doing like indie jobs. So we started doing like some short animations for a company called NotPot, which makes like CBD products. And then our first anime job, which is like it hasn't even, I don't know if I can even talk about it. Our first anime job hasn't been announced yet, but yeah, we landed our first anime job through a friend of mine on the Striving for Animation Discord. And that's where we kind of had some people coming in from the Striving for Animation Discord that were like, oh yeah, studio sounds cool, because before Striving there was like a really I guess the most active anime community was Zetai Absolute, and a lot of the guys from there eventually, like, some of them wanted a studio to happen and it never happened, and then I was like, you know what, I'll do the studio thing. And then we got like a small group of animators together. And basically the way I got us our jobs is I already had a freelance animation, I guess you could say, career started or whatever. I was getting job offers, and I started turning those job offers into, I'll just tell the PA, hey, I have other animators that work at my studio. Can we get more cuts? And a lot of the times it'd be like, I would get messaged about an emergency job, like mainly
more...
like it was like 24 hours. They'd be like, hey, we need someone to do this in 24 hours, and I'll do it in 24 hours, and they'd like my quality, and they were like, wow, that was amazing. That was great. It was great working with you. I want to hire you again. And then I would use that as a way to be like, hey, we can take 90 cuts of animation. And then they were like, oh, you can? Okay, let's try it. And then that developed into us just getting credits. And then as we got credits, we kept getting contacted, and now there's more work than we can handle, pretty much.
Oh, I hope you're okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm trying to, like, but now I'm like also doing like this business management stuff. So like I'm still drawing, but like it's like I have two full-time jobs, one running the company, and then one drawing animation.
Yeah, so you need to like pay to the animators, send the fees here, there. There's a lot of this like paper. It's not paper anymore, but it's this management stuff, right?
Yeah, I tweeted out recently that I'm looking for an accountant because I can't keep up with it anymore. Like my books are a complete mess right now. Like I've got invoices I need to send out. I'm good about paying people, but I'm definitely learning a lot about running a business, because it's like there's so many things that I didn't know going in that I'm really learning about. Like, for example, apparently businesses don't pay people, like independent contractors, immediately after the job's done. They'll usually give it. It's usually standard as like 30 days in the U.S. And I always wondered why Japan always took like 60 to 90 days to pay us. But I was just paying people as they got their work done, which the animators really liked, and but right. the Japanese studios weren't paying us for 3 months, so we'd be like done with the project, and all the animators were already paid for it, and I'm running out of money all the time.
So you were paying from your pocket or something?
Yeah, I was paying from the business account.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it got pretty bad. I had to get investors to come in and save it.
Yeah. How you do that? How do you ask investors?
Well, I was in like pretty big money troubles earlier this year, and our first client, the NotPot people, somehow heard about it. I can't remember, but they were like, "Hey, why don't we just invest in your company?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, we really love it. I think they were like, we think that it's going to be really successful, so we want to make sure you can succeed." And I was like, "That's awesome." So
it's awesome.
So they bought into the company, and then we're still going, and I've pretty much evened out the financial stuff. It's still stressful, but because like for example, like I think we've done work for 3 or 4 different studios that I still need to send invoices for.
Yeah.
But like I'm so busy drawing and doing other things that I'm like, I don't have time to make an invoice. So I hired a production assistant, or trained and hired a production assistant. So he's helping a lot, and he's Japanese and lives in Japan. So it's
Oh,
really
that helps,
helpful.
yeah.
Yeah, because he can just call companies on the phone, which is really nice.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't have to wait for emails.
Yeah, that helps.
But yeah, we originally were doing only like indie stuff with like a little bit of anime Japanese productions mixed in. Like our biggest production was like the Oda-chan show. We did like one big episode for them. And after we're no longer working with them anymore, so that we went like full on into anime. So it's like we were like 100% anime for a few months, and then we ended up getting enough, I guess, reputation where we started getting contacted from some more independent people that had big budgets and stuff. So we've got like a music video we're working on. There's a couple people who want to start or make pilot episodes with us. And yeah, and pretty much every studio that we've worked with has been really happy with our quality and stuff. So
That's great.
we have like a really good relationship with Toei Animation, Studio Pirio. Actually, those are like the top two. I'd say they're really happy with us. They give us work a lot.
Nice. Yeah, Toei have a lot of stuff to produce.
Yeah.
So can I ask you like how it looks when, for example, the animation studio gave you the cuts, and how the remote Sakugao Chavas looks like? So when director is explaining how he want to move stuff.
Yeah. So
you like call on Skype?
Yeah. So they'll send us the I think it's called a Warifuri Hyo, and the story, which is like I guess it's the assignment sheet.
Okay.
It's like a spreadsheet that says all the sections. So like, okay, you can take section A, B, C, D, E, F's taken, or whatever. And then they'll also send the storyboards. And this is like sometimes before all the sete's finished, or sometimes like maybe there's like some revisions are going to happen, but we'll pick out, we'll take these 3 sections, which equals like 60 cuts or something like that. Sometimes up to 90. I think the most we've done is we've done over 100 before. But then we'll get a meeting with the director, and we use the money. Like this is a really, I'm still trying to find a better way to do this, but what we do is we take all the money for the what we're going to get paid for all the cuts of animation, and we pool it, and then we split it up among the cuts based on difficulty, so that if someone takes a harder section, they can get paid more. But we arrange it in a way that we can also afford to pay an interpreter to come to the meeting. So
interpreter is like doing it in real time, like
yeah. So the director explains it in Japanese, and then our interpreter translates, and then we ask questions in English, and the interpreter asks them in Japanese.
Oh yes, that's what I wanted to like talk about, like about the language.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
Nice. Oh, that's so good, because like, you know, in modern times there's a lot of stuff become like really easy to use, and right now we can even, you know, have this overseas work without like any trouble of like language barriers. It's so cool to hear that.
Yeah, one thing I was really surprised about too is so we got a lot of people that came in from the Philippines and Malaysia, and they're all trained on anime, but they didn't get taught the Japanese terminology. They got taught English terminology for the Japanese stuff. So they have this whole different vocabulary than what we're learning. And so we're having to teach them
what Conte is, but they know what storyboard is. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But they've learned how to make anime using English terminology, which is really like interesting.
Are they were like doing in betweens?
Yeah, mostly in betweeners.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like really good artists as well. So but there's no layout opportunities really in those countries. I think so. It's one of the things. Maybe that's what's attractive to about Tonari for a lot of people that are coming out of these doga houses. And also, we pay better. So we pay like the Southeast Asian countries often get like, for example, 25 cents per sheet for doga, and I think like 10. I can't remember. Some of them work on quotas, so like they kind of almost run like sweatshops over there. They'll be like, okay, you have to do 600 sheets of doga per month to get $400 or whatever, and it's like we can even though anime pay is bad for those countries, just paying the Japanese rates like 4 times what they're used to making.
Yeah, like it's 100 yen for one in between, right?
It's 200.
200. Oh,
Yeah.
it's better. It's
Yeah,
better.
yeah. Some places even pay 300.
Oh,
But yeah, I tried to, if it's an independent project, I'm like in control of the budget, I'll pay $3. Is it $3? I can't remember anymore. $2.50 I think is what I pay.
nice.
Or
You're a
$3. I think
good
it's
man.
3. Yeah, 3 per sheet, and then two for color. So they can make a lot of money fast if they're coloring.
Nice.
But I really wish that like budgets were a bit bigger though, because like most of the anime work pays 2,000 yen per cut.
For layout and
for
Manga
outsourcing.
both?
Yeah, layouts. Yeah, usually layout and gang are usually each 2,000
Each
yen.
2,000, right?
Yeah. But I always try to get it up to
No.
4,000 because I feel like 4,000 is fair
Yeah.
for anime. But like what still blows my mind though is like union animators in the U.S. they make $60 an hour in some studios,
Well, yeah, like
and it's like
yes. If we're talking about like even Pixar, like it's
Yeah.
not. You
yeah, it's like
can't compare that.
Japanese animators, if they're fast, can make $60 in a day. Like,
Okay, here's a little quiz for you. How do you think how much was the production of Buzz the Wonderland cost in dollars and yen?
okay,
In
and
which you're prepared?
I can do a dollar guess. I would guess
Yeah.
$5 million US would be my guess.
No, much cheaper.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, like
can
if you go
believe that? Like,
if you go
all of this,
I mean, if you go
even
TV, if you
voices.
go TV anime rate, then
Yeah.
it would cost. I always go up for movies because I assume they have a bigger budget. But if it's TV anime rate, then it's probably gonna be
It's just 2 hours, so it's like 6 episodes, right?
1 to 2 million would be like the minimum to
Yeah.
make it happen.
So yeah, the Buzz the Wonderland was like $3 million, and like it's mind blowing. Like you know how like the Pixar,
Yeah.
they do like this movie for 3 years, remade all of this like throwaway storyboards, remade it, rewrite the script,
Mhm.
and it goes like basically like Hollywood movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like 200 million. 200 million?
Oh no, I
It's
heard
like-
like it's 60 million
Okay.
for
The
example
Disney
for Toy
movies.
Story.
The Disney movies like Frozen was 200
Frozen.
200 million.
Oh my god.
So you could make
And
with that you could make with $200 million you could make
we can make 60 Japanese animated
Yeah.
movies. Like can you just grab
just
run
cut your
so
budget in half
crazy.
and make a bunch of anime movies. That's all you got to do.
Yes.
Take half the Frozen budget and make
Oh my god.
20 movies.
Oh yeah, anyway, let's not talk about the sad stuff. Like
Yeah.
so about the Tonari Animation. So how do you see your like company in the future? What do you want to do with this awesome project?
Well, I think we're going to keep. For now, we're doing just odd jobs, and then we're doing small independent projects, so like pilots, music videos, and we might end up staying there for a while. Like once I don't think we'll ever stop doing anime for other companies because it's a huge, like, even if we don't make money on it, it's a huge learning opportunity, and it's really good practice. I get to like just work on other people's productions, see how their workflow looks, learn from their corrections, and just gain general experience. But I think the way that the company stays alive though is from the independent stuff. So we're working on this music video, and I really think this music video is gonna be big. It's with I can't say much about it, but it's with a big label, and the music's good and the concept's good, and if that music video goes well and gets like millions of views or whatever, that will lead to a bunch of other musicians wanting anime videos. And
yeah.
something that I've learned recently, because we hired Japanese staff initially for this music video that we're working on, and there is a cultural barrier that was unexpected in Western and Japanese collaborations. And generally the Japanese creators want to like be able to make things the way Japanese people make things.
I like the freedom of like
Yeah, and like if there's any iconography in there, like traditional Japanese iconography, like katanas, samurais, stuff like that, they want to treat it. They treat it differently than the West does. So like the West would be like, oh, this is just some cool Japanese stuff, and Japan sees it like, oh, this is like a cultural reference to something that's like deep in our society. So being able to do Western Japanese collaborations without basically making the Japanese feel like their culture's being just made fun of, I guess, is a challenge. And then another one that's a challenge is something I learned is in Japan they don't really do parody of anything. Like from what I understand, you know what I mean by parody.
I know what you mean, but I've seen a lot. Like everybody's like laughing on the Akira bikes scene in every anime. You can see that like Evangelion references and parodies, and they called it like avant-garde and stuff like that. Like Shirobako is full of that.
So maybe it's just something that maybe the line between parody and reference is different in Japanese.
Of course they don't laugh on the other animes. They like showing the respect.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like parodies.
Yeah. But because of that, like because there's kind of a cultural divide in addition to a language barrier, Tonari could be one of the companies that can actually service those Westerners that want the anime look, like the 2D traditional drawn anime. It's like what we make is authentic anime, because we're using the exact same production pipeline, and all of our animators are people who work on Japanese productions. And we won't have that cultural divide or the language barrier. So we'll be able to do a lot of work for probably really big musical artists who want anime videos. And I don't know if you've seen any of the anime videos that have come out in the recent years by big artists, but they don't look very good. And it's because
I don't believe I've seen anything. Like you mean like Western music video?
They're Western artists, so that are making anime as their music videos, but they're not using.
I haven't seen anything. But
they're not using Japanese studios. They're using like Western studios to try to make anime, and it looks wrong. So like an example, there's like one by Billie Eilish where she tried to do like a Ghibli kind of style, but it just turned out looking like 2007 DeviantArt. And then there's a couple other examples. There's one good one, and that's Porter Robinson's Shelter. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I've seen this one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
done by
That one was
Japanese studio.
A1 Pictures, I think. But that was
A1
like,
is good, yeah.
I saw that video and I'm like, why aren't there more studios doing this? And I think it's because Japanese people don't really want to work on Westerners projects. They want to work on Japanese projects.
It's not like that, but it's they are not waiting for like Western clients to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think the Western clients are interested in hiring them. So there's this big misunderstanding on the both sides.
Yeah.
Like Western clients think like Japanese don't want to work with them, and Japanese think Western clients don't want to work with them. It's not like that. It's not nearly like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, you need like a person who can talk both English and Japanese like well enough to just to explain like to both sides. You know, like, there's still that, because that's why I'm impressed by like what your studio is doing. It's like no problem, like in like Sakugo Chavas and stuff like that, and really good. So I believe like your studio is like this really great step for the industry is becoming like multinational, multicultural. You know, if you're good at animating, you can like animate for anything you want, right? It's not like if you're good at animating but you don't know Japanese, then you can't work for Japanese animation. It's not like that anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the people at Tonari don't speak Japanese. Like we try to get them to learn at least hiragana and katakana. But,
yeah, like reading the memos and like
shijis, or like being able to like read like the furigana above the names and stuff like that. It's really helpful. But we do translate all the storyboards and stuff like that. So
that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But so it's really important.
We've had interpreters do it, and then recently when we hired the production assistant Sakami, his English is good enough that he can type out what the Japanese text is, and it's really nice having a native Japanese person to read the storyboards, because in Shutsu handwriting, or whoever's doing the storyboards, sometimes it's the Shutsu, but their handwriting's all usually really bad and really fast. Like, so for kanji, it's like almost impossible to read unless you're a native.
Yes, and like one example of that, like my animation supervisor Sakan friend, when he drawing Shusei, he don't like write shu of Shusei. He doing something like I don't know, like, you know, there's this signatures of people where you can't read the name on the signature, and he was using that for memos like that. So it works because like everybody's like expect the Shusei word to be there, so he's like drawing something that kinda reminds you of this kanji, but it's not it. It's like, even if you know Japanese, if you don't know like what's the word supposed to be there, you never read it. So there's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, knowing what to look for usually helps, because there's like certain notations that are used frequently, like gosei, or like
doteresu, gosei.
Yeah, the sakan
stuff. It's like it's really important.
There's something I wanted to bring. I got to work on some productions, or we got to work on some productions that it was a Crunchyroll production, and it looked like, I'm going to be extremely vague about it, but the production seemed like a nightmare. Like, it seemed like nobody wanted to work on it.
Because it's tight schedule,
they had to like retake almost the entire. They finished the whole thing, and then they all were retaking almost all of it. Because they sent it to Crunchyroll or whatever, and they didn't. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but to me that was a sign of another sign of Japanese and Western collaborations not being functional. But like, I'm really determined to figure out what the problem is. And I think the problem comes when you bring a word like if you're like, here's the storyboard, make the anime, and you're like, here's the characters, here's the storyboard, make the anime. That doesn't work very well, because they don't feel like they own it, I guess, and they didn't feel like they contributed much to it. I think all that needs to happen is maybe adapting a novel and then paying the Japanese people to design the characters and create the storyboards and stuff like that. I think that would work out better. But in terms of the music video people, I'm pretty sure they're all going to have just like some solid idea of what they want. And the language barrier would probably just prevent those from working. So I guess to get back to where I was talking about earlier, the place Tonari will probably live for the next few years is music videos. And then eventually, what we want to do after that, the music videos we're hoping will raise enough money that Tonari can actually become independent. And once we're independent, we can start funding our own internal productions. And I really,
Nice. So
I really,
there's the goal. You want your original stuff, right?
I really want to make movies.
Oh, like animated movies?
Yeah, like go Studio Ghibli style, like not our art style, but like their business model. They release a movie or two
every 5 years.
Yeah, every 5 years. Yeah, well, they release more than one because they have multiple studios.
Yeah, they have like, for example, like 2 movies at the same time in work. Sometimes they're out at the same time, maybe like sometimes a year after.
But they have their own merchandise. They have their own distribution, I think. And they use the profits from the box office and the merchandise in order to fund their future movies. So they just have like a big pile of money that they can pull from to be like, oh, let's make a new movie.
Yeah, like the museum, the mostly goods, mostly like merchandise.
The Totoro plushes probably paid for like
for
half
3
of
movies.
But I think that's the best business model, because like otherwise you're going around begging people for money, or you're just doing any project that comes to you, and it's not as it's not as fulfilling as an artist.
Some side. What's the word for that? Like the business model, when even if you don't do anything, you get some money, even a little. You need to have like one of those, like merchandise. It's selling little by little every day without like producing anything.
Yeah.
So like
residuals.
When you were talking about
residuals, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, maybe. Like non-active
passive income.
Yeah. So when you was talking about like your studio, it reminded me of like Kyoto Animation's story. Like they just created it and were doing just the doga for other projects for some time, then started to do Genga for some project for some time, then they're like, okay, we should just try doing something original. Yeah.
I wonder how they...
Not original, they were doing like, the visual novels and Ranobe's anime adaptations. And I realized they used that to have freedom of like the cinematography. So for example, if you do manga and turn it into anime, you need to do the same shots, because people would say like, oh, it's not how it looked in manga, right? But the Kyoto Animation was working with visual novels and light novels, so there's a lot of text, but still there is a character designs, right? Like the illustrations, the backgrounds. So they have the characters that are already people know and love, but they can put them in the same story, but with the cameras, how they want the the movements, how they want, and they like really practice the cinematography on that, like creating interesting stuff with like even simple stories, like people talking and camera like flying around. It's so funny. Stuff like that. So and where's Kyoto Animation now? They are on the top. So I hope you will be there with
Yeah,
them real soon.
that's the dream.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go to like I don't know if is Kyoto Animation independent or do they
They
get funding?
are, but
They're
they
probably
are
public.
under this big company. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're probably a public Kabuki Gaisha. Or, I would assume
Yeah.
most studios are Kabuki Gaishas, which is like the
Yeah,
publicly
they
traded
still
stock.
have like the publisher who publishing only them. They can't go to just to Sony and say like, hey Sony, can you like publish
Yeah.
our stuff? So it's like they are bought but by somebody. I forgot. Maybe even Sony itself. I forgot.
Yeah.
Like or like this is crazy. I like realized just not so long ago. I realized there's like conglomerates. It's just four of them, right? It's just
Yeah.
Mitsui and Mitsubishi, and they own stuff like Sony and like
Oh wow.
the animation studios and like not Pepsi, but like Asahi, like drinks, and I was like, oh,
And Sony
and why?
Sony
Yeah.
bought some American companies that distribute anime recently.
Nice.
So they're just gobbling everything up. But
And that's why I was like, so why there's like, can you put more money in your production? What's going on?
yeah, what I have come to learn, and I think this is accurate, is that the budgets for the anime are actually bigger than what the studio sees. And I don't know where the other money goes, but it goes somewhere else. Maybe to the production companies or something, just to like line their pockets or whatever. But I know the way that anime is normally funded. It's there's different like stakeholders, and they like distribute the budget among those stakeholders. So it might be like a toy maker, a product manufacturer, a restaurant, or whatever. They're all putting money in. The network's putting money in because they can run ads and make money, and they're all paying for the anime because they want to make money off of it, not because they want to make an anime.
Well, yeah, it's like it's still business, but
yeah,
thanks to this approach, we have a lot of like really different and risky stuff. Risky like in terms of it's not gonna be popular, but we still want to produce it. So, for example, like the thing yesterday for me anime I was talking about, it wasn't something that gonna be like explode in popularity and people would buy a lot of like merchandise. There's no merchandise for this anime, but just director of the studio, he's like me, he really loved the original manga, and he's like and he said like, I just want to do an anime version of that, even after 5 years after the manga ended, let's do that. And it wasn't for money, it was like really like high quality production anime, and I was like, it wouldn't be possible in Pixar terms, right? Like if we creating something, you need to be like a really big hit.
That kind of reminds me of I just remembered something that we talked about in the last podcast about how, and this might jog your memory too, but we were talking about how rich people always pay for art.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like in the art galleries, or I think you said this, that like in art galleries, the portraits and stuff, it's just like someone rich person paid an artist to like get their dog painted. And stuff like that. But like the reason they made art, I think commissioned art back then, is because they would try to like commission a famous artist and then they could trade that and sell it later for more money or whatever.
Yes. So even like the stuff like high art, it's all it's a business. So when artist dies, his paintings are becoming like 10 times more in the price, and people who bought it is like, now I can sell it. Do you know more money?
Do you know David Rothko?
I'm not sure.
He I think he's not alive anymore, but his paintings would be like it would just be a canvas with like black, or a canvas with half of it's yellow, half of it's orange, and they're selling for like tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
it's like,
so this is like this little hobby for the people who have the
collections
and the ships and houses and all of these good things.
But I do have a theory that the best art is made when it's done independently, and it's not a commission, I guess. So
Oh, it depends actually. Like, there's a lot of people who don't really like what they're drawing, what they're doing with their art, but for them it's just, if I stop, I don't have money.
yeah,
And there's, of course, there's will be good thing inside of it, but that's not the way to to motivate the production of art. It should, I don't know. It's like really hard, like difficult topic, because the why we are doing this or that, it's like different. But there are people who are just like, this is just my job, I don't really like it. So I have a friend like in anime production in Japan, Japanese person, who's like, I hate my job, and like he's really good at it. He's like, I so don't care about it. And I was like, it blew my mind. Like he's so good at this and that, and he's like, I'm just doing it for money because I want to, like, to sponsor my hobbies. And it's like he had this big aquariums with fishes, plants. He really love doing that.
so he just
And
so he's doing drawing as a way to make money.
oh, he is like,
Interesting.
animation is just my job. I don't really care. He
Why
don't
didn't
even like
why didn't he
watch
become like
animes and stuff.
a hedge fund manager or something? You make more money to go fishing. You
Yeah,
can
it's
buy a
like,
boat.
I believe it started from passion. He was talking about like when he just started as Gengaman, and then as Dogaman, then became Gengaman. He said like, I was really passionate about it. I was like working for 16 hours a day, and even on weekends I was drawing for myself. Really like, always exploring of what can I do with just a pencil in my hand, and he's
Yeah.
like really passionate. And then he said like, when I'm starting to become more and more like my 40s, he said like, I don't really care about it anymore. But like, there's this 20 years of skills I can use for producing the money. So that's it. And I was like,
Yeah. I mean,
there are people like that,
eventually,
and it's okay.
I guess eventually, like it's really inspiring when you're first getting started, or like where your career's like building up and building up. But I could see it getting kind of stale eventually, because you've like been doing it for so long, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
like there's a lot of stuff, like the family, the hobbies, there's a lot of enjoyment in life, not just work. And like, I'm happy that I don't think about work as a work. Like, my approach to what I do is like, I'm doing fun stuff. I'm like, um um being a part of project I'm interested in, and after that they even pay me for that. I'm so
yeah,
happy with that. Like,
yeah,
that's my approach. It's not like, oh, I need to do some work today. It's there sometimes when we were talking about like doing the zips on the poster. So it's there,
yeah,
but it's not like, if it's not like there is something other I would like to do if money wasn't a problem. That's how I can say it.
yeah,
So even if I don't need to, I don't need money. If even if like, I don't need to think about like, I need to have this amount of money every month so I could pay for for the room and food. If I don't think about it, if I don't need to think about it, I still want to do what I do.
yeah, yeah. I've kind of took the approach of, I just want to make anime for a living, and I will just adjust my living standard to whatever I can afford. Um, so like when I first got started last year, I was living in a room in the middle. I was living in like the bayous of Louisiana, with like in like some small town, and I stayed in a room uh, with four, wait, one, two, three, yeah, four roommates, and I had the smallest room, and the room didn't have any windows, and uh, there was like barely enough room in there for my desk and my bed. But my rent was 150 a month, and that was low enough uh, to make it to where I could afford to pursue animation.
Yeah.
But since I have since, I guess, increased my income enough where I don't have to live in a windowless room with a bunch of roommates.
Well,
But
roommates is not a bad thing.
yeah, well, like I've gone down to one roommate, and I live in a house now, so it's kind of nice.
Nice.
But I'm actually considering setting up a branch of Tonari in the Philippines, and I might live
Oh,
there for a little bit because you can rent
nice.
like a 3-bedroom house there for like $300 a month, and it'd be like nice.
Yeah, like with like the world we live in now, like if you have internet and you can work, freelance, you don't actually need to be in some exact geography place to do that. So
Yeah, I mean,
just
eventually,
go anywhere you want.
my dream is to eventually move to Japan and set up an office there. But I can't do that. Like getting a business started in Japan is pretty difficult as a foreigner.
Yeah, like for example, you can go into Japan and if it's not Tokyo, you can actually have like you can find really good room.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to live like in the countryside and just go
Yeah,
outside and there's mountains and
you just need internet
an
connection and
ocean.
maybe there's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
like
That
that.
would be amazing. But
Like the dream.
that won't happen. That probably won't happen until I'm like 50 because in
How
order
old
to
are you
start
now?
a business in Japan as a foreigner, you have to go with a specific municipality, and the only municipality that allows you to start an anime studio as a business is Tokyo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I even looked at Kyoto, and they won't do it either. If you're out in the countryside, you can only foreigners can only start like mining or
Oh,
fishing. Yeah,
foreigners. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you're out in the countryside, you have to be starting agriculture or fishing or mining or something. Uh, they won't allow you to start an anime studio there because they'd be like, that makes 0 sense. You should be in Tokyo where the rest of them are.
I see. Got it.
But yeah, I'll probably end up living in Mitaka, which is where everybody is.
Yeah.
Whenever I set up there. Yeah, the problem right
So,
now is that
can I ask how old are you now?
27.
Yeah, so why is this number like 50 years old?
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Like Hayao Miyazaki started, or like the founders of Ghibli started it when they were like in their late 40s. I just
Okay,
imagine it'll
please don't
take
be
that
so
long.
don't be so negative about it. Like you don't need 23 years to move to Japan.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm being realistic, it'd probably happen within 5 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just I wanted to go last year, and I was really, I was thinking about going into debt to start the company over there, but then the pandemic happened.
yeah.
So, and Japan's been locked down since. There's no foreigners allowed.
Only if you like Olympic sports, man.
Yeah, I need to learn pole vaulting so I can get into Japan.
Skateboarding is great too,
Yeah, I think it'll be over by next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so let's use the last 10 minutes for something.
So we can do Q&A with the chat.
Okay. Like I can't see chat, so you just choose stuff and ask me, please.
Okay. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, we'll start answering. I'll see if there's any from earlier. I don't know if I saw any. Someone's asking. Well, I guess I think we answered that question. Okay. Anyways. Guys, we're looking at live chat right now. If you have questions. We'll probably spend like 10 minutes on questions. Was Ilya satisfied with the final result of Netflix's Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, it's much better than I actually thought it could be, because the Solace, the studio who produced that, Sola's previous 3D CG animation TV series work was the new Ultraman. So like the manga of Ultraman became this 3D CG animation with the same director, Aramaki-san. And the Ghost in the Shell SAC 2045 was a step up after the Ultraman's, like the production quality, the models, the effects, the animation. They are learned so much while working on Ultraman. They put this new experience to work on Ghost in the Shell. So I especially love how Motoko looks like. So my concepts, they are like I want her to look like that. But when they show me like the main modeler person done the test of like how Motoko could look like in 3D CG, I was like, oh, this is so much better than my stuff. I love it. So yeah, I really love how she looks, like even moves, like the actors who done the motion capture data. She looks great. She moves great. I'm really proud of this version of Motoko.
Nice. I guess there's Russians in chat that want you to say hi.
Привет. Я могу сказать привет всем, кто может понимать этот язык. Спасибо, что слушаете нас. Okay.
There you go. Okay. Let's see. Jonathan's asking, any advice on drawing from imagination and not from reference?
So there's this really cool practice you can do. Like, for example, I've done it recently. Okay, so imagine like Dolphin, right? Without looking at photos, without like Googling it, without like turning on like the wildlife TV, just draw Dolphin how you remember how it's supposed to look like. Like, just draw it. Okay, then Google the actual dolphin photos and compare what happened. Like, and you're like, okay, I never knew the dolphin's eye is on the same line as his mouth. Okay, I will remember that. Then you see like what's the balance, what's the I didn't know he actually have like more flippers than that. And then you close your Google search again, close your previous dolphin sketch and draw it again, but thinking about like, okay, his eye is on the same line as his mouth. Got it. Okay, his like upper flipper is kinda the same size of his like tail. Okay, here we go. Then
have you done this with the dolphin?
What? Yeah, I've done that.
Okay, with the dolphin, because you know that you seem to know how to draw a dolphin.
Like and then you open again this photo and compare again. And then you find like more like subtle details of the balance of the dolphin's body, and you're like, oh, I got this wrong again. And it really helps to realize like what's in your head and what's like how it's compared to like the real thing. And I believe this is something like Kim Jung-gi, the Korean illustrator artist, done. He like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
He
look like draw it from imagination, look how it actually supposed to look like, draw it again until he can draw it at every angle with kind of close proximity to the original object he was drawing. So like you can do that with bikes. Like when I first tried to draw bicycle from the memory, I realized I get the balance of the what's the word the balance of its round things. What's the round thing of bicycle?
The wheel.
The wheels are like really wrong. I put it so far away. Of course, there's models of bicycles where the the wheels are far away, but it wouldn't make sense with the system of moving of it, because like you need to put so much pressure on the pedals to make it work. And like with stuff like mechanical stuff, like you start to not only like remembering the balance of elements like on a Dolphin, you started thinking about like, oh, it wouldn't make sense because the bicycle is moving like that, and if you put this like that, it's not going to work. So it really helps to somebody who like to want to work like in a concept art. You not only like can draw like different things, you also memorizing and realizing how things work. So that's why the chair have like four legs or something like that.
Oh,
like
yeah.
because you will fall down, like and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like stupid example, but like for example, like that's why table is this tall, because when you see it, and that's stupid examples. Like I need something more complex to understand.
That's something I like about animation, because you're kind of forced to do that a lot of times.
you need to understand how the things
Like,
moves and why. Yeah.
I had to animate a motorcycle for the first time this year, and I had to learn how motorcycles work. I was like in way more detail than I had expected. I was like, okay, so this is where the clutch pedal is, and then the clutch pedal hinges here in this specific way, so when the character kicks it, it's gonna flip up. Like, and it's like, oh, and these things sticking out the back, those are like the footrests after you get going. And like, I'd learn like how the gas tank sat on the engine, and like where the switches were on the handlebars, and which part of the handlebar like can rev up, or like I don't know if it was the left side or right side, or
it's fun in that, like it's cool to know about the world. Like when I was a kid, I didn't care about anything. Like, okay, I love movies and games, I don't care about cars or animals and stuff like that. And when I'm becoming like more of adult, older and older, I realized I'm enjoying a lot of things because it's fun. Like even like interior like sofas, beds, like tables. I'm like, I'm really interested in like how they've done, what's the materials, what's the shapes, why it's shaped like that. So boring stuff is now like fascinating for me, like stuff like houses and the types of birds, the types of trees, like the physics. It's so much fun. And you can draw all of this. That's why it's fun. You can just go and draw this bird, draw the bird using the physics, the fluid, and the animation. It's so cool. That's why like the visual arts is fun. You learn a lot about the world, and you appreciate it more. Maybe wow, this is so genius. Like the birds. Like the skeleton. Why is she flying? Because the skeleton is there's nothing inside. It's that's why it's so light. That's why it can fly. I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. That's why like the dragons, it's impossible for them to fly. And you're starting to use that in like different logics, like real life logic. You put it on like science fiction or fantasy, and you realize there's so much fun to like learn about all of the things. Yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
I had
the
a
question
so I always like bringing up real life references whenever I'm giving people suggestions for fixing their animations. There was one project I had like last year It was like an indie project, and it was with a different studio. I'm trying to be vague about it, but the animation director got mad at me because I was bringing up real life references for something, and he was like, "Oh, this is a cartoon. It doesn't matter." And I was just like, at that moment, I'm like, "Okay, I do not want to work on this anymore." I was like, I completely disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can find another question. There's a lot of questions posted now. Salo is asking, "Hey Ilya, I'm a second-year doga man in a Japanese studio, and I was wondering if you have advice on what to work on to become a good character designer."
Once more, second Dogaman.
Second-year doga man. So I guess he's been
Second
working
year.
as a doga man for 2 years. Yeah.
Nice.
And if you have
So,
advice for
it's a question about like improving what the skills or
like
what to
what
do.
to work on, I guess, as he's moving forward to. I guess he wants to become a character designer eventually. So
Like what kind of projects should you work on or something?
just generally what to work on. I don't know. I guess it would be like anatomy,
Yeah.
coming up with characters,
The
like that kind of
skills.
stuff. Yeah.
The skills or projects? What's
I would say the skills. I think the skills.
skills? Okay, so yeah, like working in Doga is really helpful for stuff like that. So yeah, you see all this, styles are in work, like what's easy to move, what's lovely to see, what's fun to uh, fun to see the movement of. So just the biggest advice maybe is find what kind of style are you really into it. Like, I know the people who like really love the simplistic stuff like Doraemon and like kids shows. And there's been people who like really into like all this realistic, a lot of details stuff, like like maybe like Psychopaths, the animation, and Berserk, stuff like that, right? So find the type of characters you want to draw, like explore about like how you can like improve on like what characters you want to trying to find something you can put more of yourself, more of your love into it, right? So and it would be like easy to see like, oh, this is the person who like really love the characters he's drawing, like. So yeah, look what's around, look what you love, and like multiply the love in your things, in your like illustrations, Genga Doga. Like find it. It's the best way to do that.
Didn't you say your style was derived from like two
It's
styles?
like
It's
the
Ghost in the Shell and
mixes of like character designs, a kind of like Paprika, and like maybe the first Ghost in the Shell, right? And the illustrators like Murata Rangi, and the art director and character designers of Persona series. So it's like all the stuff I love. I like, oh wow, why do I love it? Oh, I love when eyes have volume in it, right? So I can draw really like when the eyes are not round. I was like, oh, okay, I remember that. I'm trying to understand how to draw the round eyes better, right? Oh, I love when the lips have volume. I love when you can see the the 3D 3Dness of lips. Okay, how do I do that? Like, how is it useful? Like, is it looking good? Stuff like that. So it's easy to find what you love if you like always constantly looking for stuff what you love, right?
Let's see. Let's do two. Do you have enough? Can you do two more questions and then?
Okay, let's do like two last questions.
Okay. Let's see. I saw a good one. Where'd it go? Let's see. Where did it go? Maybe it was deleted. Okay. Anyways, I can't find it. I'll ask this one. Would Ilya write his own story for manga or anime? Will we see some of his animation on Instagram? That would be awesome.
You mean like original stuff, original?
Yeah, I guess something
animation.
Yeah, I think he's saying I guess it's two-part question. One of it's are you ever wanting to write your own story for a manga or anime? And also, will you be the animation stuff you're doing? Are you gonna ever post that to Instagram?
Oh yeah, like it's not that easy to post the animations I've done for other projects because they usually just don't approve that, like don't post stuff. But there's like really big, great, awesome project is going on right now, for which I'm directing and even like doing the script. And more. I think, of course, like storyboards, character designs is gonna be done by me, and I really hope to show it to you soon. Please look forward to that. Yes, so it's not gonna be just visuals. I'm gonna put in the story inside, and I'm really enjoying this kind of work. So please look forward to that. It should be there till before the end of the year.
Have you ever seen those they have these at the Japanese bookstore here. They're like an entire book full of just Sakan corrections.
There are stuff like that, but it mostly doujinshi, so it's like it's not official. So for example, there is this animated movie called like Kokoro ga Sakibidatte Irunda. I forgot the English word, like, but so the Tanaka Masayoshi is the character designer and Sakan for this movie. And when they were starting this project, he put in the contract that all of his Sakan, should say, he put in, all the rights will be his rights. So when the movie was out, he just made a book, like maybe 400 pages of just his Sakan fixes, and put it out there as doujinshi at Comic Head.
That's cool.
The great book.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool if you got permission to publish your birthday Wonderland corrections.
Oh, they have like maybe 10 pages of those in the official art book, and maybe 5 pages of those in my Eternal art book.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we don't need all of those. There's not a lot of really great stuff. So all the best Sakan corrections I've put on Birthday Wonderland. I made sure it's on the internet or in the books, so you don't need all of it's like thousands of pages.
Okay, so last question is, do you have there's the question I was looking for earlier. Okay, Andre's asking, what's a good way to study the detailing of drawing facial expressions, clothes, wrinkles, and hair?
Can you read it again?
So what's a good way to study drawing facial expressions, clothing, folds and wrinkles, and hair?
Yeah, actually, all of these things I was learning like separately. For example, like for the clothing, folds, and wrinkles, I just get this book about it, which explaining how like the clothes work when you move, in which poses, which materials, how it folds. So I don't remember which the book. I don't think there's a lot of books, but there's one like the English language one explaining like in really great details about like if you move your hands like that, the clothes with like materials like that will go up here, look at here. And I was just studying this and like drawing all the pictures from this book, like every day, 10 pages of this book. I was just studying wrinkles and expressions. I like there's this thing with the animators. They have like mirror on their desks, so you can look at your face and like do the faces. Angry face, sad face, stuff like. I don't know if it helps. It should, but for me it's not working because I'm not the stuff I want to draw. So it's like I can't just ignore my face and just read the expression of that. I just see myself and it's not working. So yeah, I don't know. Like for me the best expression training was when I was doing the character designs. So for character design you need to like draw this character like 3 angles and then draw like expression shit, and it's like I was like drawing some of the emotions for the first time because like I had manga, like 80 pages of manga, but there wasn't like happy laughing in this manga. So I was drawing like happy laughing Akane for the first time for the movie character for the Birthday Wonderland, and I was like, oh, that's how you do that. She looks so happy. I was impressed by how like drawing happy emotions can make yourself happy and stuff like that. And the best was when I was doing like Sakan Shusei for the Birthday Wonderland, and there was other animators drawing all of these emotions, and I need to draw myself on top of that, and it helped a lot. And they're like, oh, so it's really okay to do this big mouth when the character is screaming, because it's like comedy scene. The bigger the mouth, the funnier it looks like. And it's like I learned a lot because I'm not really into this cartoonization. Like I like the characters to have exact size of the pupil and eyes in any situation. So it's like there's a lot of stuff in anime, like when you're scared your pupils
shrink,
become really really small, and I don't really like that. But after like looking how the animators do that with my characters, I was like, oh, it's actually looking good. Let's do it like that. Big mouth, really small pupils, really funny. Here we go. So that how I was learning about that. So not really sure about expression. And the hair is maybe the same as clothes. There should be something like materials. Like there's a lot of like in this day and time, there's a lot of really great tutorials on the YouTube, like explaining this, like for example, how to draw eye, how to draw hands, how to draw hair, and there's like really really good artists right here explaining it really really well. And like on Twitter, a lot of people just randomly posting like here how to draw like the shoes, here how the shoes look like from the inside and stuff like that. And like, oh, okay, I just save that and I will like use it as a reference or just sketch it, check it out for myself. Internet is the answer for all these questions. Maybe I just Google that and there will be like some really great talented person explaining how to draw hair.
For like absolute beginners, this is kind of what my biggest aha moment was with hair and clothes. Was I had to stop thinking about these as like flat cartoons, and also the fact that like clothing has a thickness. So it's not just like this, it's not completely flat. So just having like on a sleeve, just having the line separated on the end of the sleeve instead of having it go all the way around the cylinder makes it look more 3D, and it gives the like stuff like that. Or just thinking about how something drapes over the top of a 3D form, like just how
like the thicker the material, the bigger the folds would be, and the thinner the material, there will be a lot of really small folds everywhere. Like for example, t-shirt and jacket on the top of it. Jacket's folds are like really big and go like long and big, but t-shirt folds are small and everywhere. Stuff like that.
Something that anime hair kind of trips me out a lot still, because a lot of it doesn't make any sense at all. Like they'll just have like random parts that stick out. Sometimes there's like part of the hair that exists in one angle and then it disappears in other angles.
Oh yeah, like
So-
it's usually happens with the animes based on manga, because manga is like static,
Mhm.
and you don't need to think all this about like the actual, the 3D space sometimes. And when you try to move it just as it is, you need to like do some thinking about like how do I move that if it doesn't look like that in this angle and stuff like that. So but yeah, it's a fun part too. So there's some rules in that, right? You can't show teas moving with kuchipaku, because it's gonna look like the teas moving with
Yeah.
within your skull.
Yeah.
That's super creepy and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right?
Okay. Well, we went about an hour longer than we expected, but
Yeah. But yeah, it's as you said, I just forgot how fun it is to talk to you
Yeah.
about stuff. So I was like, oh, I was thinking like maybe 45 minutes, and then yeah, here we go, the hour,
Yeah.
2 hours.
yeah, it's crazy. Time goes by fast when you're talking about stuff you like to talk about. So
Yeah, really passionate about that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, we're gonna close out the podcast. Thanks everyone for viewing, and thanks Ilya for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Let's do it again next year.
Next year. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.